Matt LaRosier here with Firearms Policy Coalition, bringing you another weekly update, just to make sure you guys have all of the latest information on everything affecting your right to keep and bear arms. Without more, let's get into it. First up, in Joe Biden's accepting Beto O'Rourke's endorsement, he indicated that he would use Beto to take care of America's gun problem. Now, this is always interesting in a presidential campaign. The president seems to pretend that they can do literally everything, right? I mean, it's not as if they pretend the Constitution doesn't exist already. But so what? Is Biden saying that Beto would be his gun control czar? Who knows? But it's an interesting display nonetheless. Now, people often make the point that anti-gun politicians are generally surrounded by people with guns. Now, that aside, what doesn't always happen is when those security people point their guns at normal Americans. And that's what happened this week in New Jersey when one of Pelosi's security detail pointed a sniper rifle at a crowd of peaceful protesters. Now, who knows why he was doing it, possibly to use the scope to get a view of the situation, but there are non-negligent ways to do this, like binoculars or literally anything else but a freaking sniper rifle. Come on. Now, as for what's up next, also in New Jersey, I can't quite see it. Let me just, this is the best way to get a view, apparently. All right, raising permit costs. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy wants to increase the cost of firearm owner permit fees from $5 to $100, firearm purchase permit fees from $2 to $50, and jack up taxes on both arms and ammunition in the Garden State. Look at our write-up, which as always we have on firearmspolicy.org in the news section, and also posted on TTAG and other places. We do a little bit of analysis on this, and this jacks up the price of buying a normal handgun for a first-time purchaser in the state by almost $200. Now that's huge, and I talk about this a lot, especially when you consider the fact that most people who are most likely to be violently victimized are poor and minority communities. That's a huge difference, especially when the cost of the handgun itself can be around $500 for a good example. This is not what we need to be doing. We need to be encouraging lawful and responsible firearm ownership and use, not saying, basically what you're saying with this is, sorry, firearms are only for the rich and privileged. Not cool, Murphy. New Jerseyans just can't seem to catch a break this week. A security guard was pulled over by his local police for window tint. Then he was a security guard, he was lawfully carrying his firearm, and he produced his carry permit, etc. They asked to see the firearm. They check out the cartridge in the magazine and arrest him for possession of having hollow nose bullets. In New Jersey, blah, 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 there's a law against carrying firearms with hollow point bullets. Minor detail, the cartridges in the gun he was carrying were not actually hollow points. They were Hornady Critical Defense, which has a filled-in hollow point. And this is specifically not illegal in New Jersey. It's been covered. Nonetheless, he was still arrested and processed for all of that, and also improperly processed for unlawful carrying of a firearm. This just what goes to show when you have police enforcing the law, they don't even know what the law is. That's why the law is not supposed to be so vague and open to create situations like this. There is currently a bill pending in New Jersey to fix this and roll back this law, but never should have been the case in the first place. You should be able to pick whatever cartridge suits your needs for your self-defense. Or in the Illinois FOID scandal, where all of the applications had been massively delayed, allegedly due to this diversion of $30 million of funds, a group of state representatives introduced a bill to basically automatically extend permits that would have lapsed as a result of this, or some other things to kind of patch it up. But what really should be happening, guys, come on, why should you need a special ID just to purchase and own a firearm? That's ridiculous. Let's just use this big mistake as an opportunity not to say, oh, let's patch the hole in the sinking ship, but rather, hey, this is a stupid ship and we should all get off. Now in Georgia, a Senate panel on Monday approved a bill that would modify the state's prohibition on brandishing, carrying in church, courthouses, unless there's a hearing in session. And also, it would eliminate the 5-year prohibition on possessing of firearms for a misdemeanor drug conviction. It's all very interesting stuff. You should check it out more in our write-up where we look a little bit deeper into it. California Assemblyman Kevin Mullen is advancing AB 3071, which is their attempt to get the lead out. This is prohibiting the sale and firing of regular leaded ammunition at ranges in California. Now there's a lot more to it than you might originally think. First of all, the most common types of firearm ammunition are lead core and steel core ammunition. Now, you should say, okay, well, if not lead, why not just go straight to steel? In fact, it's cheaper. Well, most ranges won't let you shoot steel core because it gets a little sparky, it can ignite unburned power and cause a huge problem. So then the next types of available ammo are incredibly expensive. So if you ban leaded ammunition, then you also can't use the next cheapest ammunition at indoor ranges. So you're kind of left in a predicament. Not only that, the weapons have to be certified by the state. So it's not just the fact that the ammunition doesn't contain lead, it's that the state has been, received and examined and evaluated the ammunition and approved it. So this is going to do is just drive up the cost of practicing, of becoming a responsible gun owner, of getting the skill needed to responsibly and effectively use firearms. It's a bad law. Finish up our video, we've got an interesting law in Minnesota aimed at disincentivizing gun-free zones. Jim Munson has sponsored a bill in the state which would basically say that if you are shot at a business that prohibits firearms possession on the premises, you can sue them for damages. Now this is interesting, right? Because there's a balance here. People who own private property should be able to control who comes on there and for whatever reason. However, if you are going to take away the ability for somebody to defend themselves, you should, have a duty to keep them safe. And if you fail this duty, and because you've rendered them defenseless, they're then victimized, it kind of makes sense that you should have to pay some damages. Now, of course, there's a lot of other issues at play here. It's a really interesting area of the law, but hey, it's worth checking out, and it's an interesting thing to think about. That's it for this week, guys. If you want to read more about any of the topics we've discussed today, you can check out firearmspolicy.org, click on the news section. You'll be able to go down and see the weekly updates there, where we talked about everything here with links, and then also some other stuff that we weren't able to cover on video. But until next time, keep your eyes on firearmspolicy.org, where we're keeping up the fight for all of your rights all the time. I've been Matt LaRosiere, and I'll see you real soon.